In today's video, we're going to be reviewing the Venerable Dreadnought from the Space Marine Codex. So if you stumbled across the channel today, do me a huge favour and subscribe below. We're putting out regular 40k content here on the channel, and we're also putting out polls that determine what videos we do. So speaking of those polls, the last poll we did was for the Space Marine Codex reviews, and the Venerable Dreadnought won that poll with 45% of the vote. So that's what we're doing today. Before we get into it, we also do a shout out of the day for anyone that comments on our video. So this one is going to go to Kyle Frolich for his comment regarding the Thunderfire cannon. So shout out to you, Kyle. Okay, so let's get stuck into the review today. So the Venerable Dreadnought is 8 power level or 135 points for the model. It comes within the elite section of the codex. As for the keywords of note, it's got the smokescreen keyword, it's got a core keyword, and is a vehicle. Then as for the datasheet, it's not got a degrading datasheet, so that's pretty good. It's not going to be going down after he's been wounded, but it's got a movement of 6 inch, weapon skill 2+, ballistic skill 2+, strength 6, toughness 7, wounds 8, attacks 4, leadership 8, and a 3+ save. So the noteworthy stats there are that he's hitting on 2s because he's got weapon skill and ballistic skill value of a 2+. And his toughness 7 as well, which isn't too bad for his resiliency. As for abilities, Angels of Death because, well, he's a Space Marine. So the combat doctrines and the shock assault in particular are going to work, but the bolt of discipline unfortunately won't because it's a vehicle. Then he's got Duty Eternal, so it's just a -1 to all damage taken. He then explodes again because he's a vehicle on a 6. Any units within 3 inches will suffer 1 mortal wound. Then finally he's got the Unyielding Ancient ability, which is effectively a 6+ feel no pain save. As for the Wargear, the Venerable Dreadnought is equipped with 1 assault cannon, a storm bolter, and a Dreadnought combat weapon. So the assault cannon is 24 inch range, heavy 6, strength 6, -1 AP and 1 damage. Now this AP goes to a -2 AP in the first battle round because of the Devastator doctrine from the combat doctrines. This is more an anti-elite weapon. Even Death Guard Plague Marine units are going to get wounded on a 3+. Now you could even use this on light vehicles that are toughness 6, but it's probably more advisable in infantry. He's then got a Storm Bolter, which is also 24 inch range, so it matches the range of the assault cannon. Rapid fire 2, so you're going to be getting 4 shots at half range. Unfortunately, you can't get 4 shots while staying stationary at 24 inch range, again because it's a vehicle, so the bolter discipline does not work. But it's strength 4, no AP, 1 damage, -1 AP in the tactical doctrine, which is turn 2 and potentially turn 3. This is more of a light infantry weapon. Things with a pretty poor armor save, a 6+ armor save, Orc Boys and things like that. Don't be using it on elite and vehicle models. Then he's got the Dreadnought combat weapon. It's strength ×2, making it a strength 12, -3 AP, and the damage is a flat 3. Now it does go to -4 AP in turns 4 and 5, and you could have it in turns 3 as well, with the assault doctrine turned on. Now he's got 4 attacks, so 5 on the charge due to shock assaults, and he's going to be hitting on 2s with not just this weapon but all the weapons we've discussed already. So he very rarely misses, and he's got the core keywords, so he can be buffed to reroll those ones too. Now the Dreadnought does have some upgrade options. Now I have shown 5 here because the app actually shows 5, but actually the last one isn't actually 1, it's just a repeat of the second one, but I've got it already done here, so I'm going to leave it on. The first one is the assault cannon can be replaced with a weapon from the Dreadnought weapons list. So there's 4 weapons in that list. The first one is a heavy plasma cannon. Comes in 2 profiles, both 36 inch range with the blast ability. They're both heavy D3. So the normal version is strength 7, -3 AP, and the damage is 2. And the supercharge is strength 8, -3 AP, and the damage is 3. But of course, if you roll a 1, you're going to do damage to yourself with 1 mortal wound. It doesn't remove the model, thankfully, so the jeopardy is a little bit less than normal. But this will go to a -4 AP in the first battle round, again due to the Devastator doctrine. This is a free upgrade, so if you didn't like the assault cannon, it's something you might consider. The second weapon from the Dreadnought weapons list is the Hellfrost cannon. Now you've got to be a Space Wolves player to be able to use this. Again, it comes in 2 profiles, 36 inch range. The dispersed profile is heavy D3, strength 6, -2 AP, and the damage is 1 with the blast ability. And if you focus fire it, it's heavy 1, strength 8, -4 AP, and the damage is D3 +3. So the dispersed profile is more for anti-elite infantry, and the focus one is more of an anti-tank, but it's still a pretty powerful weapon, and it's only 5 points for the upgrade. The multi-melter is also only 5 points. It's got a 24 inch range, heavy 2, strength 8, -4 AP, and the damage is D6. And if you're firing within 12 inch range, it's going to be D6 +2 damage. Most likely wounding a lot of things on 3s, if not 2s. It's just that damage D6, if you're more than 12 inches away, could be quite unreliable. Then the final one is the twin las cannon. This is a 20-point upgrade. It's 48-inch range though, so you could stay back with it. Heavy 2, strength 9, minus 3 AP, and the damage is D6. That damage is a slight concern unless you're using command rerolls to change the damage outcome, but you're very likely again wounded on 3s if not 2s. So that's the first bullet point. The second one, you've got the combat weapon and the storm bolter replaced with a missile launcher, or you're going to keep the combat weapon and just exchange the storm bolter with a heavy flamer. So the missile launcher, 48-inch range, heavy D6, strength 4, no AP, 1 damage. With the blast ability, that's the frag missile, and the crack missile was only 1 shot but strength 8, minus 2 AP, and the damage is D6. It's a free upgrade. It's got that versatility of going after troops or elite models or tanks as well, of course. Then the heavy flamer, 12-inch range, heavy D6, strength 5, minus 1 AP, and the damage is 1, and it's an auto hitting weapon. Now it is an unreliable D6, but auto hitting it kind of doesn't matter too much. You will get it to minus 2 AP in the first battle round, but because it's only a 12-inch range weapon, you're not likely to be using it in the first battle round. It's also a very good weapon to use in Overwatch as well if you're being charged. The third bullet point is for Space Wolves players, the Great Wolf Claw. So it's going to be replacing your combat weapon here. It's going to be a strength plus 4 weapon, making it strength 10, minus 2 AP, and the damage is a flat 3, but you're re-rolling the wound roll, so it depends on what you want there. You lose a tiny bit of strength going down to strength 10 from strength 12, but you're re-rolling the wound rolls, and it will go to a minus 3 AP in the Assault Doctrine as well, which will be turn 3 onwards if you're playing Space Wolves. The fourth one is also a Space Wolves only upgrade, which is the Forensic Great Axe. It's 10 points and it comes with a Blizzard Shield, which will cost you 15 points. Now the Great Axe with the Cleave profile is a strength plus 4, making it strength 10, again similar to the other one, minus 3 AP, and the damage is D3 plus 3. So a lot more damage there, but it will be a minus 1 to hit. Now as a Space Wolves player, you get a plus 1 to hit in the first round of combat, and you hit on 2s anyway, so this shouldn't actually change anything. You'll be still hitting on 2s. And if you use the Scythe profile, this is strength user, so it's only going to be strength 6 on that one, minus 3 AP and 1 damage, but you're making 2 hits for every one. So if you're getting 5 attacks on the charge with the Shock Assault, that will turn into 10 attacks at minus 3 AP and 1 damage, so it's a really good anti-infantry weapon there. Then the Blizzard Shield is just a nice little cherry on top, which is a 4+ invulnerable save to help with its resiliency, which is especially good on a toughness 7 model. Now the last one, as I mentioned, it's just putting the heavy flamer on instead of the storm bolter, but that actually is the same as the second bullet point, so I'm not sure why the app has decided to show me that. But anyway, we'll move on to the stratagems. Armor of Contempt is 1 command point. Effectively it's a 5+ feel no pain against mortal wounds. Sometimes it helps, sometimes it doesn't. The smokescreen keyword will help, which is also 1 command point. It will just effectively make the Dreadnought a -1 to hit for enemy attacks. The third one I really do like though is the Wisdom of the Ancients. It's only 1 command point as well, so effectively you put the Rites of Battle aura or the Tactical Precision aura on the Dreadnought. So core units within 6 inches of the model can either reroll the hit rolls over 1 or the reroll of wound rolls over 1, and that will include the Dreadnought itself because it's also a core unit. So hitting on 2s, rerolling 1s is not going to be missing. That's also going to save you points from actually needing to get a captain or a lieutenant within your list. On to some chapter synergy. So you've got the Dark Angels to begin, +1 to hit if they remain stationary with their Grim Resolved ability, and then weapons from the Dark Age, which is a stratagem for the heavy plasma cannon in particular, to get a +1 to the damage. White Scars have got the fallback and charge or the advance and charge ability with their lightning assault, and they've got the Hunter's Fusilier stratagem to advance and fire the heavy weapons, and there will be no -1 to hit either. Then Space Wolves, they can heroically intervene because they've got the Hunter's Unleashed ability, and they've got a +1 to hit in the first round of combat just to negate any -1 to hits because he already hits on 2s anyway. Then of course all those unique weapons that we mentioned in the weapons section of the review, which only apply to Space Wolves armies. Imperial Fists are next. They can remove light cover saves, and 6s to hit with the Storm Bolter are extra hits. I mean, it's not the biggest deal there, but it is something at least. Black Templars get to reroll the advance and charge rolls. They get a 5+ feel no pain against mortal wounds, which will mean you're saving command points so you don't have to use the Armor of Contempt stratagem because you've got it automatically. And they've got unique litanies from the chaplains, which will work on core units such as your Dreadnought. Blood Angels, they've got the +1 to advance, the +1 to charge, and the +1 to wound rolls with their Red Thirst. So you're virtually always going to be wounded on 2s on the charge. Then the last few here, they've got the Iron Hands with the Wrathful Machine Spirit stratagem just to reroll the hits. And then they've got the March of the Ancient stratagem, which I think is huge. So basically the Dreadnought will become a character model for the game, and because it's a model with 9 wounds or less, it could be buffed to have the Lookout Sir ability if you've got other models nearby, so it can't even be targeted unless it's from a sniper or something like that. Then finally all the Tech Marine buffs, due to the fact this is a vehicle heavy faction and Tech Marines are quite key when playing Iron Hands. Ultramarines have only really got the fallback and shoot ability with their Codex Discipline. There's nothing else really that they can be using. And Salamanders have got quite a few little tricks. They've got the reroll of a wound roll, they've got the -1 AP becomes comes no AP when targeted. That's coming from their Forged in Battle chapter tactics. They can use a stratagem which is the Crucible of Battle for a +1 to wound, or the Fires of Battle stratagem to throw out mortal wounds. Raven Guard got the Shadow Masters, so the light cover save if they're more than 18 inches away. And then finally Death Watch, they've got a few little tricks. So they've got the mission tactics to mix up the doctrine. So maybe they wanted the Devastator doctrine in turn 2 instead of turn 1, they can do that. And they're going to reroll 1s to wound versus a set battlefield roll. But the biggest trick they've got is the Teleportarium stratagem, which allows any Dreadnought to deep strike onto the battlefield. So that's the chapter synergy. Onto some unit synergy. The Tet Marine is the obvious one here. It's got a few abilities. The first one is the Blessing of the Omnisire, so you can heal D3 lost wounds to your Dreadnought every turn if it's within 3 inches of a Tet Marine. And it's also got the Awaken of the Machine Spirits, which is a +1 to hit for your Dreadnought if it's within 3 inches of the Tet Marine. Again, it already hits on 2s, but if there's any -1 hit modifiers on your Dreadnought or on a unit that is targeting, this Tet Marine will give it a +1 to the hit roll. Now you could upgrade the Tet Marine to a Master of the Forge for 20 points, so instead of healing D3 wounds per turn it will be a flat 3, and then that Master of the Forge can also take the Warlord trait, which will give a Dreadnought within 6 inches an additional 1 to its strength and attacks characteristics. So not too bad for your Venerable Dreadnought. Now if you're not playing Space Wolves and you wanted an invuln save for your Dreadnought, you can take Librarian and cast a Psychic Fortress ability, which will give any units within 6 inches of the Librarian a 5+ invulnerable save. You can further buff the Dreadnought by taking a Captain with the Rights of Battle aura for rerolls of 1s to hit, or the Lieutenants for the Tactical Precision aura for reroll 1s to wound buff. But as mentioned earlier, you can use that stratagem Wisdom of the Ancients every single turn, and you can have one of those 2 abilities on your Dreadnought every single turn, so you won't even need to field a Captain or a Lieutenant model. Then finally you've got the Chaplains, which can do all sorts of litanies, which will affect your melee attacks and your range attacks and even your charge movement as well. So summary, starting off with the good. It can hit on 2s, which is quite rare for these Dreadnought models. They're normally hitting on 3s, so hitting on 2s is pretty decent. It can have the 4+ invulnerable save. Now this is only available to Space Wolf players with the Blizzard Shield, but you've also got the -1 to the damage taken with the Duty Eternal as well, which is a pretty good ability. Got a 6+ Feel No Pain save, which makes him even more resilient, and he's got the core keywords buffed in all sorts of different ways from all sorts of different characters. He can shoot and fight better than most other Dreadnoughts. It's very versatile, and of course because he's got the vehicle keyword, he can be firing these weapons into combat. Then as already mentioned, if you're playing Space Wolves, you've got the extra weapon loadouts, which are actually pretty good. As for some of the bad, there's not that many here, but I'll highlight a few anyway. The damage output could be better with other units. For example, you could take a unit of Eradicators, which could do a lot more damage. Now they're not as resilient as this Dreadnought, but the damage outcome is a lot better. The Dreadnought is slow versus say the Redemptor Dreadnought or the Contemptor Dreadnought. They're both quicker than this Dreadnought. Then finally, it does both shoot and fight just okay. It's not the greatest at either of them. So for the actual points you're spending, again, you could be spending it on the Eradicator unit, for example, or maybe some Assault Terminators if you want to go melee. This model does do both, but it just does okay at them both. So on to the rating then. So today I'm going to be giving the Venerable Dreadnought a Planet 40k rating of 3.5 stars. Guys, do you agree with the rating? Put it down below what you think you'd rate this model. And remember that a random comment will be shouted out in the next Space Marine video. So drop a like on your exit, sub if you are new. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next time.